Okay. Now, I'm going to make this short and sweet. This is a case for corruption. Now, in regards to my case, I was a probation officer in the state of New Jersey for 9 years. I filed a discrimination lawsuit against the New Jersey Judiciary, discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. I believe they illegally incarcerated my nephew because of it. And I'm going to break down the story with his case. Number one, the state of New Jersey, if you're a probation officer, if you work for the court, if you have a family member involved, you have to let the court know. You have to fill out a family involved form. I did that with my nephew. His case was transferred to Union County. While his case was in Union County, he was in a residential facility. In that facility, he was assaulted by staff. These staff they look like they play for the Eagles. They were huge. He ran. Because he ran, he was facing the VOP. I, on behalf of my nephew, wrote a letter to the judge in Union County stating, my nephew ran, but he ran because he was assaulted. He's still in that facility, so he can't even report the people who assaulted him because they're not going to keep him safe. The judge agreed, continued his probation. In my opinion, the Middlesex County prosecutor did not like that. He went to my sister and told my sister he was going to lock his blacks up and he was going to put him in Jamesburg. My sister said the case is in, my sister worked in Middlesex. You can't transfer the case back to Middlesex. He said, watch him. The Middlesex County Prosecutor Office filed a motion to have my nephew's case that was transferred from Middlesex because the Middlesex County Court said it was a conflict to Union County. The conflict was me working in Middlesex County and having a family member on probation when I was a probation officer. That is the conflict that the courts deemed a conflict. Once the case was transferred to Union County, his case should have stayed in Union County. Middlesex prosecutor got a hard on and transferred the case back to Middlesex. When they transferred it back, they literally gave bogus reasons. One reason was because he lived in the county. Everything that they gave on why they transferred it from Middlesex to Union to transfer it back to Union was already brought up. They deemed it was a conflict. They didn't care about that conflict that was still there, which was me being a probation officer. Mind you, I've been complaining about the racist treatment, how they treat black people like slaves in Middlesex County since I got there in 2012, and they didn't like that. This is 2016 now. 2017, they transferred it back. A case that they said was a conflict. It was such a conflict. This one case was such a conflict, they issued a court order against me. The court order said that I cannot go up to any of my coworkers and say, oh, this is my nephew case, get him probation, or be light on his case. Now, I wouldn't have done that in the first place. So the fact that you issued me a court order saying that I can't do something that I have the integrity and the morals that I wouldn't do in the first place, is beyond me. But you issued it because you didn't want me to say anything about the fact that this case was there. They lied and said that court order said that I'm home at my house and I'm talking to my family member and I'm going to my family and we getting together and we trying to get him an attorney, and that I can't tell them that he needs an attorney because these racist people are going after me at work and I think they're going to go after my nephew. BS. You cannot tell me that. I believe you guys are racist. I believe you went after my nephew because I filed cases against you, complaints against you, and you're telling me that I have to keep that confidential is BS because I know the law. And one thing about it is if you see something, say something. That's their policy. So if you see something going on, you have a right to report it. You're issuing me a court order telling me that I can't talk about this issue with my nephew was your way to try to silence me not talking about the situation with my nephew. So you transfer the case back to Middlesex. Now I'm fighting them for being racist. I filed an EEO complaint. We're going discovery, the EEO fighting back and forth. When I finally get my right to sue letter, I file in my right to sue letter Middlesex County. This was his juvenile case. His juvenile case was transferred back. They were trying to throw him in Jamesburg as a juvenile. He has severe mental health. The court is aware of his mental health because he was on probation since 2015. So 2016, 2017, you're aware of his mental health diagnosis, the fact that all the diagnosis, so you are aware, you just don't care because you're going to teach me and him a lesson. He gets an adult case. He goes inside a Chinese food restaurant and he asks a customer for $1. And the owner is telling him to get out. His customers he wanted my nephew to leave messing with the customers, but he was just asking for $1 to buy a black and mild. The owner of the restaurant tried to hit my nephew with the wet floor sign. My nephew defended himself. Middlesex County Prosecutor, Middlesex County Police, South Plainfield Police charged him with second-degree robbery. Now, he did beat the guy up. I'm not saying he didn't assault him. I'm not saying my nephew never said he didn't beat him up. My nephew said he tried to hit him, so he defended himself so the man wouldn't hit him, and it was two of them against one of my nephew. They charged him with second-degree robbery. Now, as an adult in probation, I'm in the probation department. It's a major conflict. They don't care. My sister is telling them he got mental health issues. They're telling her they're going to throw him in prison. First offense is an adult. First offense, mental health issues. They're throwing him in prison. My sister writes a letter. In this letter, she talks about how her sister has EEO complaints of them being racist in there, and she wants her son's case transferred out. They have an emergent change of venue hearing. At this change of venue hearing, it was supposed to be a change of venue hearing. The Middlesex County Public Defender gives my nephew a plea to sign for 5 years nearer and tell my nephew if he don't sign, he'll be incarcerated for 10 years. My nephew has mental health issues. You telling him he get 10 years in prison or 5 years in prison, he gonna go for the 5 years. But the gag is he shouldn't have got prison at all based on his mental health issue and the charges that he's charged with. He should have been placed on probation because he got mental health issues. He don't know that. He just know that they telling him 10 years, and if he don't sign, he going away. So he signs it, and that's the nail in the coffin. So again, I say they bully and harass me. They assign me. I have a court order. If I say anything about the fact that they assigned me to complete his case, I violated the court order. Again, you got a court order, you can talk about it. If I don't say anything and I work on it, you can't access the file. You got a court order. That's the mental games that they play with you. And everything that I look at, everything I accuse, oh, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. Everything they do it to me intentionally, I have to look at it a mistake. But I was written up for not answering one email that was sent when I was out on FMLA. But everything, oh, it was a mistake. It was an accident. So my nephew got 5 years nearer no early release act. No early release act means you're a violent felon. If you get out and you 80 years old, you want to live in the senior citizens building because you have SSI, you can't. You have a violent felon. The violent felony conviction on your jacket says that you're a violent felon for the rest of your life. That affects you in everything you do. You can't get certain housing. You can't get certain government assistance because you have mental health issues. You're a black man in America. You have mental health issues, and now you're a violent felon. I fought it immediately. I filed my lawsuit within a month of him signing the plea. I named the public defender, the prosecutor, the HR manager, the trial court administrator. I named everybody named mama. I wanted to name the judge, but I'm not that crazy. Judges have immunity. And because I didn't file a tort claim notice, state of New Jersey, it's actually in the country in some states. If you're going to sue the government, you got to let them know within 90 days that you're going to sue them. Which is stupid because they know what they do, but you basically put them on notice. But because I was a couple of days shy, I was less than 5 days shy of filing a notice, I was unable to sue them for that. So basically, I cannot sue them for them retaliating against my nephew in this aspect. So he signs the plea. That's that's why I'm fighting. He should have never got the plea. He should have never got the conviction. The Middlesex County courts. And this is why I say it's corruption. I say it's abuse of power. I say it's fraud. I say it's official misconduct. I say it's witness tampering. It's everything you can think of. That's what it is in regards to this case. You have a mentally ill black man who you have for a charge of a robbery when the police was called for a site of a fight, not a robbery. And you have the fact that it was a conflict. The court said it was a conflict. I didn't say it was a conflict. You said this case was a conflict. This case was such a conflict that you transferred it out, but then you decide to change the conflict, transfer it back, and issue a court order against an employee. Everything to this, in regards to this case, stinks. And that's why I'm letting everybody know about this case, because it's not right. What's happening to my nephew, in addition to the fact that he got mental health issues, in addition to the fact that he's a violent felon, and now he's labeled, so he's classified even on where he gets sentenced because of the charge he was convicted of, and the fact that we had a independent evaluation. based on the independent evaluation, he qualifies for not guilty by reason of insanity. So he shouldn't be there in the first place. After I filed my lawsuit and I named all these people, the Middlesex County public defender immediately gave him a pool attorney. That pool attorney immediately filed a motion to withdraw his plea. Number one, he shouldn't have got the plea in the first place. Number two, based on his mental health issues, he should have never got the sentence in the second place. Number three, it was a conflict because I worked there. Every time I tell somebody this is what happened with this case, they're like, wait a minute, that wasn't supposed to. I know what's supposed to happen. That's why the Middlesex County prosecutor is still saying that this has to be confidential. What is confidential about this case? He was not selling secrets to Russia. There's no confidentiality. There's nothing that warrants that this case remains confidential except to cover up the crimes of the public officials and what they did in this case. Other than that, it's an aggravated assault robbery case. That's the charge I gave him, right? Why does an aggravated assault robbery have to be confidential? I no longer work there. I'm suing y'all for being racist in state and in federal court. Y'all don't like black people. That's what I'm saying. Allegedly, y'all don't like black people. Y'all treat black people like slaves, allegedly. You treat black people like second-class citizens. So why do I have to be confidential about what y'all doing to my nephew? It doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't make sense. But that's why I'm singing it like Tony Braxton and trying to get what's going on with his case, because it's not fair. It's not right. And because he signed the plea, because y'all threatened him with 10 years, and he's been locked up since 2019, and y'all got him getting out 2025. The second video is going to be in regards to the fake violation of parole these people have on him. So please share my story, get it out there. If you have any questions, please ask the questions in the comments. I'll try to answer them as much as possible. I tried to be as thorough as possible. The story is kind of all over the place, but again, I'm gonna break it down. Number one, as a probation officer, I had to let the court know I had a family member involved. I did so. They said the case was a conflict. They transferred it to Union County. I complained about people. I filed several complaints and incidents, and I advocated on behalf of my nephew when he was in Union County. All of a sudden, the Union County, they didn't violate him. They continue his probation. Guess what? Now his case is transferred back to Middlesex County, and a court orders against me. Now I can't advocate for him. That's his juvenile case. Then he gets an adult charge. Again, he has mental health issues. He gets an adult charge. My sister contact them and say, look, he got mental health issues. Y'all know his mental health issues. They weren't paying her no attention. They're gonna try to throw him away. And I know they were coming after me. So I'm trying to tell her, like, no, you got to get him an attorney. She wrote that letter. It was an emergency change of venue hearing. At the emergency change of venue hearing, they forced him to sign a plea for 5 years in prison. And they threatened him with 10 years if he don't sign the 5 years. So he signed. I filed my lawsuit. And I didn't file a tort claim notice, so this matter with the prosecutor, the public defender, is thrown out. But I still can talk about it because this is what I filed in court. But they get away with it. They immediately withdraw his plea. They immediately filed a motion to withdraw his plea, but the judge didn't care. They still let everything stand, and we still fighting. We still have time to fight. That's why I'm trying to bring attention to it, because we still have time to fight it. But it's the fact that they did it in the first place. So now you have a mentally ill individual, 18 years old at the time of the offense. He was 18 at the time of the offense. Incarcerated, he is 23 years old now. Incarcerated all this time because the lies and the corruption, the state of New Jersey Department of Corrections, the parole, I'm singing it like Tony Braxton, all of them. And it's not okay. And it's unfortunate, and I have to fight against it. That's why I'm doing these interviews and talking about the things that's going on with his case. But what happened with his case, it being named a conflict, it being transferred out because it was a conflict, then it being transferred back, a court order against me, now he's forced to sign a plea, get 10 years or 5 years. Then the motion to withdraw his plea, I got fired at that hearing, actually. That's the hearing I got fired at. The motion to withdraw his plea. I'm just bringing attention to this matter. And again, if you have any questions, please ask them in the comments section of my YouTube page, and I will answer them as I possibly can. I should be doing the next video within the next 20 minutes or so to get these videos up there. Thank you.